Welcome back to Culture Corner Review for culture news, reviews, and everything in between. Let's get it.
Yes, what's poppin'? So, hope you got a few minutes because this might take a few. About the post yesterday of Skip Bayless, right? I see a lot of people took Skip's defense, and that's fine. But what I want to do, what's up, brother? I want to read 2 tweets, right? I want to read 2 tweets because some people felt like I wasn't fair because I didn't mention the tweet that Skip put up first. And I'll tell you why I didn't. But I'm going to read these 2 tweets. Not exactly sure what happened to Damar Hamlin. Players on both teams are shaken. Ambulance out on the field. CPR administered. Can't remember play being stopped for this length of time. Just said a prayer for him and his family. That tweet came first. This tweet came second. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season? A game of this magnitude? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. The first tweet shows concern and doubt about what's going on with Damar Hamlin. He didn't know, but he did know something happened, and he did know that CPR was being given. CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. That means he needs to be brought back, right? So clearly, that's a serious situation. And Skip said in that tweet, I'm praying for him and his family, right? Cool. But when he comes back and tweets again, it's nothing about Damar Hamlin's health. It's about how are they postponing this game? Why is he even discussing the game at that point, y'all? Now, some people interpreted his last sentence, which suddenly seemed so irrelevant, to mean that he was showing that Damar Hamlin's health was more important than the game. Some people didn't interpret it that way. A lot of people didn't interpret it that way. A lot of people interpret it as insensitive. And I personally can understand why, because after the first tweet, if you know that the man's condition was worthy of CPR, why would your next tweet have anything? Why would your next tweet contain anything other than extended concern for him and his family? Why even discuss why the game is being postponed? You just answered your own question. Why ask but how? Go back to your own tweet, Skip. The initial tweet explains but how. The man is receiving CPR. That's why the game is being postponed. That's why it doesn't matter what stage of the season it's in. And when you say which suddenly seems so irrelevant, that doesn't show concern, as is interpreted by a lot of people, for Damar Hamlin. That seems like, well, suddenly it don't even seem relevant that it is this part of the season because somebody got hurt. It was very matter-of-factly. That's how it came across, right? But again, it comes down to interpretation. And people who interpreted Skip to not be wrong or at fault, they have a right to that perspective. The people who interpreted it that he was at fault and inappropriate, they have a right to that perspective. The reason why I'm making this video in totality is because of how I've seen black people handle each other over this. Because somebody doesn't see it the way that you did or interpret it the way that you did, that does not mean they can't read. It does not mean reading is fundamental. It does not mean that they're dumb. What this continues to signify is we don't understand the importance of whether we agreeing or disagreeing, how important it is for us to stand by each other's side. Let me elaborate. If Damar Hamlin was a beloved, not just a white player, but a beloved white player, and that happened to him, and a black commentator did what Skip did, we know what the complexity of this would look like. It would look like there is no place for insensitive remarks such as that in our sport. Because if white people had demanded something to be done about a black commentator, something would have been done. But us, in true fashion, we don't stick together. And I'm not saying we have to agree. What I'm saying is, in us being on different sides, we insult one another. We talk down to one another simply because we disagree or share opposite perspectives. We just watched Kyrie Irving be dragged and ostracized for posting a movie that most considered to be something educational, right? But it offended some people. It doesn't matter if he meant any harm. It doesn't matter if he apologized. The fact of the matter is people were offended and something was done about it. It doesn't matter what he intended to do. The people were offended and something was done. Skip Bayless, as of today, what I just saw, not only put the tweet up, but he has made it known that he's not taking it down. To me, that speaks volumes. I don't care who was offended. I don't care if you think it was insensitive. I said what I said, and I'm standing on that. And I'm not taking the tweet down. So what does that say to me personally as a man? To me, that says what he put out was he cared more about the continuing of that game in the season than he did about Damar Hamlin. Because if he cares about Damar Hamlin, he would care about how that tweet came off. He would care that Damar Hamlin's family care about how the tweet comes off. But in my opinion, Skip don't care about Damar Hamlin. That's my opinion. It doesn't make me illiterate, doesn't make me dumb, doesn't make me a racist, doesn't make me don't like Skip. I'm basing this upon what I'm seeing and hearing and comprehending. Because reading doesn't just go with reading. Reading goes with comprehending. And through my comprehension, the tweet that he put out first should have been the last tweet that he put out until he figured out what was going on with Damar Hamlin. And then his next tweet should have been continued prayers, continued support. Because at that point, you already know the man done got CPR for 9-10 minutes. So what difference does it make whether or not the NFL is postponing that game and why? You know why. You know how. So what was the purpose of even discussing it? There was no rhyme or reason to even discuss it because what takes precedence is already known. So in my opinion, the fact that he said he's not taking the tweet down further implies to me that he don't care about that young boy. He don't care about what happened. He cares more let me say that differently. He doesn't care as much about what happened to Damar Hamlin as he does about that game. And that's the impression he gave. That's how it was interpreted by myself and many. But the fact that he doesn't care who was offended and who thinks it's insensitive, Damar Hamlin's family included, the fact that he said, I'm not taking it down, to me, shows his character. And nothing is being done about it, but I guarantee you, if it was a beloved white football player and we saw a black commentator display what a large majority of white America considered to be insensitive, something would have been done about it. So I just want our people to understand something. No, we don't have to stick together when we disagree. on a topic, but we still have to stick together despite disagreeing on a topic.
That's it for this Culture Corner review. Leave a comment. Tell me your thoughts on this. And remember, life is too short for anything but love. Bless up.